What's going on, everybody? I'm Josh with Valley Subaru, and today I'm scaling the all-new 2022 Subaru Ascent. It's been a while since I've test driven a Subaru. The last Subaru I reviewed was the Crosstrek Sport, and I remember really liking it. Let's see how this Ascent stacks up, shall we? Looking at the styling, it has a traditional conservative styling consistent with most Subarus. It isn't the most striking vehicle out there, but it isn't ugly either. The interior design also follows this tradition. But let's be honest, that's not why people buy Subarus. People buy Subarus because of all the things that you can do with them that you can't do with other cars. Now, in my last video, there was a big discussion on whether the Subaru Crosstrek was a wagon or an SUV. There are nuanced differences between the two, but for all intents and purposes, I'm going to refer to the Ascent as an SUV. SUV stands for Sport Utility Vehicle after all, and the Ascent honors that acronym well. Let's begin with the sport aspect. The Subaru Ascent comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. That means that not only do you get all-wheel drive all the time, but that the power and weight distribution is balanced for better fuel economy and torque vectoring. Additionally, it comes with a 2.4-liter Boxer turbocharged engine, producing 260 horsepower and 277 foot-pounds of torque. Other sport features include 8.7 inches of ground clearance for more difficult terrain, the X mode selection option for deep snow or mud, and a 5,000-pound towing capacity. One thing that continues to surprise me about Subaru is how unreactive yet reactive they are. You press down on the gas, and the Boxer engine jumps into action. And if you're not careful, you'll do 15 over the limit. Which is another thing. The ride is so relaxed, so unimpressed with the deformations in the road that it's hard to tell how fast you're going. I drove an Aston Martin Vantage years ago and had the same issue. It's delightfully terrifying. The Subaru Ascent definitely fits the bill for the sport term, but what about utility? Well, to start, it averages 24 miles to the gallon, has room for 8 passengers, easy access to the third row, roof rails, a 120-volt AC outlet in the second row, USB ports for every passenger, a DC outlet in the trunk, and a power tailgate with seats that fold flat for added space. As storage utility goes, the Subaru Ascent earns itself a C. Storage behind the third row is 17.6 cubic feet, which is smaller than many of its competitors. However, you can knock down the third row to increase your storage volume to 47.5 cubic feet, which isn't bad. However, unlike other brands, you can't lower the second row from the rear. Knock all the seats down and you do get a competitive 86.5 cubic feet. Like I said in my Crosstrek Sport video, Subaru seems to build its vehicles with campers in mind. The trunk and third row can be coated with a rubber protective coating. The USB ports and auxiliary ports have rubber inserts to prevent dust or water from shorting the electricals, and the dual screens mounted in the dash can provide different information simultaneously. Before I get to the multifunction display, I want to take a second and praise Subaru for the size of the knobs in the Ascent. I remember the Crosstrek knobs were like ship helms, so I can appreciate the subtlety here. Anyway, the multifunction display is great because it provides everything from acceleration information, pitch and yaw angles, fuel efficiency, and a front view monitor. That front view monitor is exceptionally helpful when parking in Denver. If utility is what you're looking for, don't forget the Ascent has customizable auto light sensors to activate the headlights once external lighting reaches a pre-selected point. An 8-inch touch infotainment screen that can scroll through and adjust everything from navigation settings to active safety features. But what is it like as a vehicle? Let me preface this by saying I've never owned a Subaru, but I do know when I'm comfortable, and this driver's seat is the most comfortable I think I've ever sat in. Next, the heated and ventilated seats work spectacularly, and the Harman Kardon audio system with quantum surround sound wraps the whole driving experience in a big red bow. Yes, the Subaru Ascent comes with a glut of comfort features, such as tri-zone climate control, heated seats in the second row, power adjustable front seats, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Subaru Starlink, and a panoramic sunroof. If you've seen any of my other videos, I'm sorry, I was young and needed the money. However, if you've seen any of my other car reviews, you know that I love the panoramic sunroof, or in this case, moonroof. Luxury is defined by light and space, and this moonroof does that job amicably. As for second row comfort, the captain's chairs are firm but not uncomfortable. The cup holder is at a perfect distance from you, and here's a cool feature. The window slows down as it closes to prevent little ones from getting their fingers caught. What a brilliant idea. As for the third row, it is sufficient. As mentioned earlier, you get access to 2 USB ports for charging devices. Comfort-wise, the third row is respectable. However, anyone over 6 feet may have difficulty. Also, the second row is equipped with grip handles to assist third row passengers for entry and exit. I would also like to point out that the Subaru Ascent is very safe. The National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration gave it 5 stars, and the 21 model received the Top Safety Pick Plus and a superior frontal crash rating from the IIHS. Now that you know so much about the Ascent, you're probably thinking about the price. The starting MSRP for the Ascent is $32,295, while the touring version I'm driving is listed for $47,656. Be sure though to ask your sales rep about any promotions or discounts that may be occurring. So how do I sum up my experience with the Subaru Ascent? Well, you know, other than the lack of access to the second row from the trunk, there really isn't anything I would change about it. The acceleration and ride quality both get A's in my book. The utility features explain why Coloradoans love Subaru so much. And the fuel economy is one of the best in the segment. Subarus really do define what an SUV is supposed to be. Thank you for watching this 2022 Subaru Ascent walk-around video. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any new videos. Also, check out Valley Subaru in Longmont, Colorado, or go to valleysubaru.com for a high-class buying experience.